Good. Meditation was good. Did you meditate first of all? So today we have to start reading from page 293. Who's going to start?
Okay, I'll start. Vasistha continued. All achievements are dependent upon four factors: time, place, action, and means. Among these, action or effort holds the key because all endeavors towards the achievements are based on action or effort. Some perverse practices also prevail, and they are said to make achievements possible. Especially in the hands of immature practitioners, they are conducive to great harm. To this category belong the magic pill or urgent or wand, magic pill or unguent or wand, as also the use of gems, drugs, self-mortification, and magic formulae. The belief that the mere dwelling in holy places like Sri Shaila or Meru enables one to attain spiritual perfection is also defective. Hence, in the context of the story of Sikittoja, I shall describe the technique of pranayama, or the exercise of the life force, and the achievements it brings about. Kindly listen. In preparation, one should abandon all habits and tendencies that are unrelated to what one wishes to achieve. One should learn to close the apertures in the body and also learn the practice of the different postures. The diet should be pure. One should contemplate the meaning of holy scriptures. Right conduct and the company of holy ones are essential. Having renounced everything, one should sit comfortably. If one then practices pranayama for some time without allowing anger, greed, etc. to rise within oneself, the life force comes under one's perfect control. Right from sovereignty over the earth to total liberation, everything is dependent upon the movement of the life force. Hence, all such achievements are possible through the practice of pranayama. Deep within the body, there is a nadi known as Vasistha. It rests in the vitals and it is the source of 100 other nadis. It exists in all beings, gods, demons, and humans, animals and birds, worms and fish. It is coiled at its source. It is in contact with all the avenues in the body from the waist right up to the crown of the head. Within the nadi dwells the supreme power. It is known as Kundalini because it is coiled in appearance. It is the supreme power in all beings and it is the prime mover of all power. When the prana or life force, which is in the heart, reaches the abode of the Kundalini, there arises within oneself an awareness of the elements of nature. It is when the Kundalini unfolds and begins to move that there is awareness within oneself. All the other nadi, radiating flow of energy, are tied to Kundalini, as it were. Hence, the Kundalini is the very seed of consciousness and understanding or knowledge.
So Vasistha continues on the same lines as last week. Yeah. Very important here, he mentions Desha, Kala, Kriya and Artha. Yeah, or Karma and Artha. Yeah. These are the four important points which are there in the Sanskrit Sutra. So he says all achievements are dependent upon these four factors. What are they? Desha, Kala, Karma and Artha. Yeah. We have done a little bit of this in Ashtavakra Gita before. Yes. Desha means what? Place. Yeah. Space. Kala, time. Karma, you already know, whatever action you do. And Artha, the means of attaining an action. All these four work together and they determine whether you achieve something or you don't achieve something. Got it? Just because I have good karma, does it mean I will achieve it? No. I have to have the good karma and then that has to happen at the correct time. The opportunity has to come at the correct time. That is Kala. In the correct place, which is Desha. And I should have the means of completing that karma. Understood? Then only can I achieve success. Yeah, success we may call material success. Yeah, but even on the spiritual side, you may go on and on and on making efforts. But if it is not your time and you are not doing it at the right place and the means that you are using are incorrect, you will not achieve any spiritual results also. Understood? Yeah. So all four factors work together. Desha, Kala, Karma and Artha. Now, I want you to look at your own life. There is some or the other event going on in your life today. Yeah, whatever. Something at work, something in relationship, something related to your career, yeah, something related to your own personality, your own personal growth. There's some event going on in your life. Now, observe. Am I achieving success? Success means what? I want to go in a particular direction, and when I achieve that particular direction or that particular goal, I call it success. Yeah. So right now we are all stuck in Maya, so that's fine. Let's look at success at home, in job, in career, family, relationships, wherever. Number one, are you attaining results or achieving success? If yes, figure out, oh, Desha is right, Kala is right, Artha is right. That is why this karma is working. Yeah? You figure it out. You actually prove to yourself, let's see what Vasistha is saying, is that right or wrong? Got it? So you check the Desha, Kala, Artha for that particular karma in which you are attaining success. Now once you have done this homework number 1, now go to homework number 2, which is those factors in life where you are not successful. Yeah, whatever it is, family, friends, again, even spirituality. Maybe you are not successful in sticking to a discipline or doing your daily sadhana, yeah, or applying knowledge. So again, now look intricately. What is going wrong? Desha is right, Kala is right. Oh, is the Artha wrong? The means to achieve it? Am I doing it incorrectly? Yeah? You figure it out. Not only in spiritual things, in your material things also. Wherever you are seeing that success is not being attained or achieved. One of these 4 factors is kaput. Yeah? Now, if you come to this particular realization that, okay, Desha is right, Kala is right, Artha is right. I'm really working hard, but I'm still not achieving the karma that I want. Yeah? So that means probably it is not a part of my karma phala. Yeah? Sometimes you have big aspirations. You want to become a manager, you want to become the the CEO, you're really working hard, doing everything right. You have a great boss, you have a great office, great work culture, everything is great, but still that particular position is not coming. I'm not getting that title that I want. Probably it's not a part of my karma. So karma has two aspects to it, the action aspect and the fruit of action. Yeah? The action aspect is the karma, the fruit of action is the karma phalam. Both come under the umbrella of karma. Got it? So maybe it is not a part of my karma phalam. When you come to terms with this, what happens? What happens?
There's frustration.
Okay, there is frustration. Frustration is because of what? Frustration is because I am still running after the karma phalam. I am saying come to terms with this fact that maybe this is not my karma phalam. Are you getting this? When I come to terms with the fact this is probably not my karma phalam, because for 20 years I've been doing the right thing, in the right place, in the right company, it's probably the right time, but it's not happening. Yeah. So should I keep running, be feverish, or just surrender? What is a better way to do? Yeah? Surrender. Recognize, oh, probably this is not a part of my karma phalam. So let me drop this feverishness at least. Because feverishness continued over a long period of time not only affects my physical health, it will also affect my mental health. Yeah? Because I'm constantly frustrated, I'm constantly running behind it. Yeah, so actually in the scriptures very beautifully it is laid down how long you should even strive for something. Yeah, if the desha is right, the kala is right, yeah, and you have put in all your perfect effort, fantastic purushartha. Yeah, you've not been miserly about making the right efforts. Huh? That is the first prerequisite. Yeah, if you've done all the things and it is still not happening, yeah, resign. Yeah, I quit running now. If it has to come to me, the effort that I have put in was so good that it should come to me even with this much effort. Yeah, now I'm going to stop running in the mind. Clear? Now let's read that sentence again. All achievements are dependent upon 4 factors. Kala, which is time, desha, which is place, karma, which is action, and artha, which is means. Among these, action or effort, the word you know for effort is purushartha, holds the key. Because all endeavors towards the achievement are based on action or effort. Yeah? So you put in your 100% effort. Don't always assume, oh, I have put in 100% effort. Maybe it was not really 100%. Yeah? So work towards it, whatever your material goals, your spiritual goals. Yeah? Put that 100% effort. The problem happens on the spiritual path. People say, grace will flow, it will come. Enlightenment will happen. No. Just like in the material world, I have to make an effort to achieve something. Similarly, on the spiritual path, I have to make an effort to get out of this Maya. Are you seeing this? If I do not make an effort, how much ever grace is flowing, I will never be able to receive the grace. There will be no patrita. So patrita or your ability to receive the grace happens only by your intensity of effort. Are you getting this? There is nothing like grace will flow if the blessing is there. Inshallah, all your lovely dialogues. Yeah. Effort is foremost. Clear? Now, some perverse practices also prevail. Now, this only refers to your spiritual aspect. Okay? What are they? They are said to make achievements possible, especially in the hands of immature practitioners. They are conducive to great harm. To this category belong the magic pill or unguent or wand, as also the use of gems, drugs, self-mortification and magic formulae. All these things, if somebody comes and gives you some ash, some bhabhuti, and says, oh, every day put it on your forehead, have a little bit, yeah, do 4 rounds of the Ganpati in your house and this thing will come to you. You think it's going to come to you? No. Hopefully you've grown out of these things. Yeah, wear a stone, yeah, wear this gem, wear that gem. Yeah, you will achieve this. You will get married soon. This is one thing I've heard. Huh? I wear this red stone. I'm going to get married soon. Doesn't work like that. Huh? It's just, it's like in medicine, we call it the placebo effect. Yeah. So we just give you something, you start feeling mentally good. Now I got this. Now it'll all happen. And actually mentally you start making an effort in that direction. Yeah, and your feverishness relaxes, you're calmer. And you deal with that thing much better. And then you see success. And then you say, oh, because of that red stone. No red stone can get you married. Yeah. No bhabhuti can really bring money your way. Yeah. Do 10 parikramas of the mandir. Yeah. It's not that by doing all this, the success comes. By doing all this, your mind calms down. Your feverishness calms down. Yeah, it's the placebo effect. Yeah, and it works. Many times doctors just give you vitamins and you think, oh, big antibiotic, I'm going to get cured, I'm going to get cured, I'm going to get cured. You say this a million times to yourself, I'm going to get cured. Really, even if you don't take that pill, you will get cured. Yeah. So that's how it works. It's just working psychologically. So all these things, some magic pill, I didn't even know it exists. Wand and all, I only saw in Harry Potter, so I don't know if really people use the wand nowadays. Baki unguent is like an ointment. You put an ointment and your diseases will vanish. Gems, drugs, Self-mortification is to hit yourself. You've seen in Haridwar and all, hit yourself 100 times with the hunter and this vasana will leave you and you will become enlightened and all kinds of things. Magic formula. I don't even know what magic formula can exist, but all this recognized does not work. Yeah? The belief that the mere dwelling in holy places like Sri, Shaila or Meru enables one to attain spiritual perfection is also defective. This is somewhere in South India, I think, where you can go and, near the temples, you can actually buy a little home or a condo and whatever. You start feeling just because I live in a holy place, I'm going to become holy. Yeah, I'm going to attain enlightenment. No. By living there, you will not attain enlightenment. It's again placebo effect. By living there, you're in that sattvic environment, so you feel encouraged to do more sadhana, because all others are doing. So then, of course, your effort gets enhanced. But because you bought a condo next to the mandir, you got enlightened, this logic does not work. So don't get on to this new feverishness. Okay? Hence, in the context of the story of Sikhi-Dwaja, I shall describe the technique of pranayama or the exercise of the life force and the achievements it brings about. Kindly listen. In preparation, one should abandon all habits and tendencies that are unrelated to what one wishes to achieve. That's number one. If you want some spiritual progress in life, you have to abandon all those habits and tendencies which are taking you away from your own spiritual progress. Simple vows that we've taken. I will not lie. I will not steal. I will not hurt. Even if it is a little ant or a spider in the house. No killing. This itself generates compassion in you. This itself generates those qualities, even if they were not there in the past person. But the present person starts having the potentiality of blossoming. Naturally having love and compassion as your qualities. So when the frequency of negativity starts reducing in you, automatically there is more space for positivity, there is more space for love and compassion, there is automatically more space for knowledge. Automatically knowledge starts getting absorbed. Just like if a sponge has become totally dry and is just sitting on the counter for days together, its absorbent quality is not so good. But when it becomes just a little wet, just a little damp, it's softer. It's able to take in the water. Just like that, our minds are like that sponge. It can become hard if it is unused, as in there is no positivity. Little bit of positivity is that dampness that makes you soft. And that softness, just that softness of heart is sufficient for you to start walking the spiritual path. What I'm saying, I'll elaborate a little more. Suppose you are continuously angry. And in that angry state, you leave the house and you go to work, you'll notice that it hardly takes a little thing for somebody else to ignite that anger again. Have you noticed? Nothing, hardly anything another person will say. He just bumps into you and you're all angry or flustered. Why? Because you were carrying that underlying current of anger. Okay? Now you understand this underlying current of anger? Like that, only you have an underlying current of compassion or love. If the softness is maintained at home, you managed, you were working on knowledge, you were applying knowledge with your spouse, with your family members, you maintain that softness of heart, you go to work, that same person bumps into you. Now, there is no anger coming out. Same situation, exactly the same situation. So, what was the difference? Is that softness, that inner softness. Understood this point? Whenever you notice that you are feeling very hard and stiff and angry or hateful inside, that is the time you should shut the door, sit and watch knowledge again become soft. Shut the door, sit and do your kriya. Shut the door, do meditation. That is not the time to interact with another person, because the moment you throw out anger, you kind of give yourself the permission to repeat this act again and again and again and again. Have you noticed? Once it happens, then you keep doing it. You've done it with your wife, you've done it then again with your family member, you've done it with your child, again you do it with the cashier at the grocery store, and then you do it with the stranger on the street, and you continue. It is like it's an inner kind of button that gets pushed, and once it gets pushed, it keeps getting pushed. Yeah? If you can avoid that first push of the button, yeah, then you have won over it. Now this is very subtle. You will actually have to work on yourself when you observe a little negativity. Can be any kind of negativity. Yeah? So the first moment you observe, oh, I'm feeling really angry right now, and it has just started, and I'm probably going to open my mouth and just throw fire. Immediately get out of that room, go to your room, shut the door, calm yourself down. Come back to that softness. The moment you come to that inner softness, then you have prevented the push of the button, that first push. You got what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll give you an example of anger. It's easier to understand, but this is in greed, this is in jealousy, this is in just mere disappointment with somebody, expectations. Oh, you didn't fulfill a simple expectation of keeping the room clean. Finished, you started on your child. Little things can trigger. Find your trigger points. Yeah? And observe. Right now, my trigger has just been pressed by this person, and I am going to blurt. Yeah, and you can see that big lava coming up, boiling, and it's going to come up. Get out of that room. Let the lava cool down. Come to that softness. This is actually an exercise you have to do. Understood your homework? That is the first one. Abandon all habits and tendencies that are unrelated to what one wishes to achieve. Number 2, one should learn to close the apertures in the body and also learn the practice of the different postures. Different postures is yoga, all the asanas that we have learned, and closing the apertures is the bandhas that we have learned. So we've practiced bandhas. If you have not been practicing bandhas, this is very important. I had explained this in the Bhagavad Gita, why this is important. Your energy goes out through all the chakras. So when you close the apertures, you help the kundalini start rising within. That energy which was going out was getting staggered and scattered outside, now becomes consolidated, because for a few seconds I have managed to close all the apertures. And the more meditative state you are, the more calmer you are when you do this, you will observe the energy moving up the spine to the top of the head. And that energy which is moving inside is the Kundalini Shakti. Number 3, the diet should be pure. Here pure clearly means sattvic diet. If you notice there is a lot of tamasic food on your plate, then get some sattvic green vegetables, salad, cucumber, carrots, balance it out. If you see a lot of rajasic stuff, lots of mirchi and lots of spicy food, again get a little tamasic food like yogurt and balance the spice out. So you have to learn to balance your food. Once you learn to balance whatever is on the plate, it will get balanced in this body. And the diet remains pure. Next is, one should contemplate the meaning of holy scriptures. This should be done continuously, constantly. Week after week, I indulge in anger, hatred, negativity, jealousy, so I am collecting garbage. So week after week, I need to clean myself also, no? So the cleansing happens through the knowledge. Yeah? Meditation and Kriya just help to calm down the mind. But the negativity that I have accumulated, yeah, of all these different emotions, that can be removed by knowledge only. Yeah? Right conduct and the company of holy ones are essential. Your right conduct is very important, huh? Sometimes we think, oh, it's okay, I have been good, so today I can be bad and I can say something wrong or hurt somebody. Knowingly doing something wrong is a bigger aparadh. It's a sin. Yeah, unknowingly, if I do something, I'm unaware, yeah, that can still be excused by karma. But niyati is very, very clear about its rules. If knowingly you are doing something, you really get taxed double. Yeah? So right conduct is really essential in life. It's okay if the other person in front of me chooses to play politics, do conspiracy, do something wrong against me, but I will not do wrong against him or her. Do you have this kind of firmness about being right? Check homework number, I don't know, whatever. Are you so firmly established that even somebody else doing wrong does not shake your conviction of being right? Yeah, you check. Next is company of holy ones. Yeah, again, you cannot all the time be in the company of Gurudev. So, Guruji's talks, Guruji's meditations, yeah, the Kriya, continuously being in the Sangha that is doing spiritual practices is equivalent to company of holy ones. Having renounced everything, one should sit comfortably. If one then practices pranayam for some time without allowing anger, greed, etc. to rise within oneself, the life force comes under one's perfect control. This is very essential. People ask, oh, so many years I've been doing pranayam. It's not working for me. So many years I'm doing kriya. It's not working for me. Why is it not working? Yeah, either conduct is not right. Yeah, that is making you negative. Yeah, so whatever good karma, good merit I am getting from a little bit of meditation and I should experience the peace, I am wasting that through my bad conduct. Yeah, so it's balancing out. So I'm not experiencing the benefit. I'm not experiencing the merit of that little meditation or the little pranayam that I'm doing. Are you getting it? Yeah, so the right conduct is equally essential with your practices. Yeah? Being truthful, being honest, doing things that do not pinch my consciousness. Got it? The moment I feel a pinch, it is not right. Very simple. You don't need to ask other people. You don't need to consult scriptures. Your inner self will tell you. The moment you experience a pinch, it is wrong. Yeah? And it gives you a warning before you are going to do an action. Right or wrong? Yeah? Still, if you choose to do the wrong action, then there is double taxation of karma. It takes away that good merit of meditation, takes away that good merit of kriya, takes away that good merit of, that peace that you could have experienced and gone deeper into your sadhana. Got it? Yeah, so devoid of anger, greed, etc. Here, all negative emotions he means. Clear? And all these negativities will go away the moment I resolve to do everything right. Right from sovereignty over the earth to total liberation, everything is dependent upon the movement of the life force. Hence, all such achievements are possible through the practice of pranayama. Yeah? This is really big, that you can attain liberation just by the practice of pranayama. There have been yogis who have done nothing else. Yeah? And that's what Sudarshan Kriya is. It's actually just regulation of the breath. That is the definition of pranayama. Yeah? So it is a type of pranayama. Just by doing pranayama, many yogis have attained enlightenment. Yes, and you can too. But then there are other prerequisites. Right conduct, absolutely clean heart, not doing anything wrong, having no negativity like greed, jealousy, hatred, anger. All these have to be completely given up, abandoned. You cannot say, oh, anger doesn't leave me. That's not true. You don't leave anger. You cannot say greed doesn't leave me. You don't leave greed. Are you getting this? These are only very nice excuses. Oh, knowledge doesn't get applied. You are not applying knowledge. Yeah? Knowledge doesn't have hands and feet and come and sit on you. God knows new things people come up with. Just an escape route the mind needs. How do I find a loophole to get out of this? Training of the mind is the only way. There is no other shortcut. So train your mind, because it's only your mind who comes up with all these excuses. The day the mind gets established in self-discipline, then you are the ruler of this world. Then there's nothing to fear. Deep within the body, there is a nadi known as the Antraveshtika. It rests in the vitals and it is the source of 100 other nadi. So we've done this before. This is your torso. The Sushumna nadi is coiled up and is sitting like that. It is coiled up and the energy is not even rising up in most of us because we are so full of anger, hatred, jealousy, negativity. When there is a lot of negativity, this upward flow of energy does not happen and it is just sitting coiled up there. Are you getting this? Then you don't experience the good effects of pranayama or any practice. Why? Because I'm so full of negativity, I just don't manage to take this energy up. But the moment I learn that skill of placing my spiritual progress over everything in life, even dropping my own ego, my own hatred, my own jealousy, then what happens? I open up a passage for this energy to rise up. Got it? It is the Sushumna Nadi or Antraveshtika. Both are the names for the same Nadi. You remember we've done this before, no? Sushumna Nadi is in the center, Ida and Pingala are on the right and left. So this Sushumna Nadi again has 1,000,000 branches, and then all the nadis come out of these and they go throughout the body, even down to the lower part of your body. Got it? If this Sushumna Nadi or Antraveshtika is dormant, you will be a low energy person throughout your life. Yeah, you may be energetic, whereas rajas might be high and you might keep running over the place, all over the place. But in your meditation, you might not be able to pull the energy up because the mind is racing. Yeah, this high energy happens only when the mind is calm and quiet, when the mind is disciplined. Clear? So when it coils, it is coiled in the lower chakras. Yeah, when it rises up, it comes up straight. Yeah, it can go down also. Yeah, and when it goes down, there is more negativity. That is why closing the apertures helps in circulating the energy within the body. This is what happens. Yeah, this circulation itself, the force of that circulation propels that coil to start moving up, 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 and starts moving up. We've discussed this in Bhagavad Gita, if you remember. Yeah. So he'll talk about this in the next page. Yeah, we'll come to that. It exists in all beings, gods, demons and humans, animals and birds, worms and fish. It is coiled at its source. It is in contact with all the avenues in the body, from the waist right up to the crown of the head. Yeah, it is in contact. It is a part of all the chakras. That is why we did the Hari Om meditation today. Yeah, Hari Om meditation is nothing but opening up the chakras and taking this energy upwards. Within this nadi dwells the supreme power. It is known as Kundalini because it is coiled in appearance. The word Kundalini itself means coil. It is the supreme power in all beings and it is the prime mover of all power. When the prana or life force, which is in the heart, reaches the abode of the Kundalini, there arises within oneself an awareness of the elements of nature. Yeah? Your basic awareness also about things, about there is more to life than just this material world, than just work, just relationships. That first awareness that happened to you was kind of the first spark of that Kundalini, that first movement in it. Yeah? The more the Kundalini becomes Jagrit and awake, the more awareness increases in you. The more awareness increases, the more the Kundalini Shakti starts moving up. They feed into each other. Yeah? Either through pranayam, you learn to move the Kundalini Shakti up. Yeah? That will help your awareness come up automatically. Or if the pranayam is not happening because of a lot of vikaras in life, then the other way around, start with awareness. The sharper your awareness becomes, the easily that Kundalini Shakti can start rising up. Got it? They feed into each other. When the prana or life force, which is in the heart, reaches the abode of the Kundalini, there arises within oneself an awareness of the elements. Got it? Yeah. Suppose you are a yogi and you go the pranayam way. Your complete focus is only on moving the Kundalini up. Yes? And to really get success in moving the Kundalini up, You will have to let go of vikaras, negativity, hatred, greed, jealousy, anger. You work on calming the mind down. When the mind is really at that point where it is absolutely quiet, calm, you will start experiencing this Kundalini move up. The moment the Kundalini moves up, you will experience that awareness increases in you. So, when the prana or life force, which is in the heart, reaches the abode of the Kundalini, understood that? My prana is there right now. When we do pranayana in the gap meditation, we just experience it outside at Dvadasha and inside between the chest and the abdomen region. Yeah, that is called the lotus, the heart lotus. That is where my prana is. Now this prana can reach the Kundalini abode, yeah, where it is coiled up. Yeah. It can reach there only with either practice of pranayama to that extent or with sharpness of awareness. Yeah. Whichever way you choose, that prana can reach there. That's it. It's like a room or a place where oxygen is not going in. All you have to do is open up the doors and windows and the oxygen will go in automatically. Yes, that's all pranayam does. Opens up that closed window for the prana to go down and reach the coiled up Kundalini. The moment that Kundalini Shakti or that energy is stacked, then it starts moving up. Clear? Very, very clear? And then there's awareness of the elements of nature. Basically, you become very clear what is Prakriti, what is Purusha. Yeah, it is your experience that you are the consciousness. It is when the Kundalini unfolds and begins to move that there is awareness within oneself. All the other nadi, radiating flow of energy, are tied to the Kundalini, as it were. Hence, the Kundalini is the very seed of consciousness and understanding or knowledge. Very clear? Yeah. It goes hand in hand. Either you awaken the Kundalini Shakti or you work on your awareness. If you work on your awareness, Kundalini Shakti will automatically become powerful and awake, not dormant anymore. If you work on the Kundalini Shakti, it will automatically increase your awareness. Happens together. Very clear? That page is clear? Can we move on to page 294? Who's going to read?
I can read. Brahma asked, is not the infinite consciousness forever indivisible? If so, how does this Kundalini arise and manifest itself, thus revealing this consciousness? Vasistha continued, indeed, there is the infinite consciousness alone everywhere at all times. However, it manifests as the elements here and there. The sun shines on everything, but it is reflected in a special way when its rays fall on a mirror. Similarly, the same infinite consciousness appears to be lost in some, clearly manifest in some, at the height of its glory in yet others. Even as space is empty, space everywhere, consciousness is consciousness and not else. Whatever the appearance may be, it does not undergo any change. This consciousness itself is the 5 root elements. You behold with your consciousness the same consciousness, which is the 5 root elements, as if you are seeing another within yourself, even as with one lamp you see 100 lamps. On account of a slight movement of thought, the same reality, which is consciousness, seems to become the 5-fold elements and thence the body. In the same way, the same consciousness becomes worms and other creatures, metals and minerals, earth and what is on it, water and other elements. Thus, the whole world is nothing but the movement of energy in consciousness, which appears as the 5-fold elements. Somewhere this energy is sentient, and elsewhere it appears as insentient, even as water, when exposed to cold wind, hardens and becomes solid. Thus is nature formed, and all things conform to nature. However, all this is but the play of words, a figure of speech. What else is heat and cold, ice and fire? Again, these distinctions arise on account of conditioning and thought patterns. The wise man therefore inquires into the nature of such conditioning, whether it is latent or patent, good or evil. Such is fruitful quest. Vain argumentation is like boxing with space. Latent conditioning produces insentient beings. Patent conditioning gives rise to gods, humans, etc. In some, there is dense conditioning conducive to ignorance. In others, there is attenuated conditioning conducive to liberation. Conditioning alone is responsible for the diversity in creatures. For this cosmic tree known as creation, the first thought form is the seed, with the various spheres, the various parts of the tree and the past, present and future as the fruits. The 5-fold elements of which the tree is formed arise of their own accord and cease of their own accord. Of their own accord they diversify, and in due course they become unified and tranquil.
So Rama asks the question, is not this infinite consciousness indivisible? If so, how does this Kundalini arise and manifest itself, thus revealing this consciousness? Vasistha says, indeed there is the infinite consciousness alone everywhere at all times. However, it manifests as the elements here and there. This is very important. We've done this n number of times before, but again a repetition. It's the same gold that somewhere manifests as earrings, somewhere manifests as a ring, somewhere as a bangle. But finally it is the same gold. Like that only. Same water, somewhere it manifests as a cube of ice. The same water is water vapor somewhere. The same water is cold somewhere, the same water is hot somewhere. Yes? So, just like that, consciousness also, though it seems indivisible, it has different forms. And the different forms of consciousness is earth, water, fire, ether and air. Now when earth, water, fire, ether and air combine in different permutation and combination, these different forms come up. It's as simple as that. Yeah. The sun shines on everything, but it is reflected in a special way when its rays fall on a mirror. Similarly, the same infinite consciousness appears to be lost in some, clearly manifest in some, at the height of its glory in yet others. Yeah? So lost in some means, in those people who are totally lost in this Maya, yeah, totally ignorant, you cannot even see any good quality, total evil. Yeah? These people are very tamasic. You cannot even see any glimpse of consciousness. They are as good as stones. Yeah? No consciousness. Then there are some people in which there is certain amount of goodness, certain amount of love. They are not tamasic. They have raised themselves up, but they are not at that highest level yet. They are the middling kind of people. Yeah, it is manifest in them, clearly manifest in them. Yeah, and then there are those like Gurudev, like the enlightened beings, where it is at its height. Yeah. Even as space is empty space everywhere, consciousness is consciousness and not else. Whatever the appearance may be, it does not undergo any change. Yeah. So you might say, oh, water undergoes change. It becomes water vapor, it goes up to the clouds, and then there is again rain, and the same thing can again come down as snow. Yeah, it becomes ice. Yeah, but this is just apparent to my eyes. If I take water vapor to the laboratory, if I take snow to the laboratory, and I take liquid water to the laboratory, same formula at the base. So scientists will just look at this and say, no, 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. That's all it is, all the same. It does not matter how it looks on the external appearance. Got it? Like that only the people who are spiritual scientists can very, assertively tell you this, that the consciousness is indivisible. Its basic formula remains the same. Yeah? Whether it is a tree, a human being, an animal, a computer, a stone, the mountain, the planets, it is all the same at its basic or the root formula. Yeah? It is the consciousness, indivisible. This consciousness itself is the 5 root elements, which is earth, water, fire, ether, air. You behold with your consciousness the same consciousness, which is the 5 root elements, as if you were seeing another within yourself. Even as with 1 lamp, you see 100 lamps. What's the meaning of with 1 lamp, I see 100 lamps? If everything is dark here, I cannot see anything. Even if there are 100 lamps kept in the room, but nothing is lit, I cannot see the 100 lamps. I have to just light 1 lamp and I can see the 100 lamps in the room. Yes? So what does this mean? Really, everything is a reflection of me only. It is all a making of my mind. The way I wanted things to happen, that's how they have all manifested. The entire world is just a mirror reflection of me. The day I drop this wanting to manifest and just focus on being with what is, the manifestations will stop. For a while they will continue because of the past momentum, but after a point the manifestations stop. It comes to a halt. Yeah? That's where the physical body ceases. It seems like suicide. It sounds like suicide. Yeah? But suicide is not very different from moksha or liberation. Yeah? It may sound like suicide of just the physical body for you is suicide. But really, the end of even the mind is moksha, the ultimate moksha. Yeah. Because you think you are this body-mind complex, you are very attached to the body and you cannot let it go. Yeah. When you realize, oh, I am that energy, even after the body dies, even after the mind dies, I still exist. I am really immortal. Then this fear of letting go of the body and mind will drop and you will no more call it suicide. Yeah. So he says, you behold with your consciousness the same consciousness. Yeah, means you only with your light you will be able to see the other 100 lamps. Otherwise there is no chance. Yeah? But how do I see it? When I recognize I am that consciousness. I have to make an effort to move in that direction. On account of a slight movement of thought, the same reality which is consciousness seems to become the fivefold elements. Yeah? Slight movement of thought means what? I want this or I want to be this led to the manifestation of earth, water, fire, ether, air. And then of course the combination of all that created the body. In the same way, the same consciousness becomes worms and other creatures, metals, minerals, earth and what is on earth, water and other elements. Yeah? Thus the whole world is nothing but the movement of energy in consciousness which appears as the fivefold elements. Somewhere this energy is sentient and elsewhere it appears as insentient. Even as water when exposed to cold wind hardens and becomes solid. Thus is nature formed and all things conform to nature. Yeah? Everything is nothing but an equation of earth, water, fire, ether, air. However, all this is but the play of words, a figure of speech. What else is heat and cold, ice and fire? Again, these distinctions arise on account of conditioning and thought patterns. This is very important. I came out of the pool of consciousness. That moment I didn't have so much of conditioning. Only one little conditioning had happened. I am different. You are different. Then I piggybacked on that little I and said, I want to be this. And then I piggybacked on that first want and I had a second want and then the third want and then multiple wants started producing their effects. And this cause, effect left impressions on my mind. That is mental conditioning. Got it? I have only created this mental conditioning. I am only responsible for it. Yes. So today where I am, in this human body, it is my own self-created conditioning. So these distinctions arise on account of conditioning and thought patterns. The wise man, therefore, inquires into the nature of such conditioning, whether it is latent or patent, good or evil. Such is fruitful quest. Vain argumentation is like boxing with space. Yeah? It's no use sitting and debating about scriptures, talking about scriptures, reciting shlokas by heart. It's not going to get you anywhere. Actual self-inquiry, actually going within and seeing, oh, my mind just did this. I had this thought, then this thought, then this thought. Oh, this thought was the cause and this was the effect. And then this became a cause for this effect. Actually looking at how your own mind is working. Actually observing your own emotions. Actually realizing, oh, there is some other energy behind all these little chittas of mine. Oh, that realization, that aho moment can happen only in self-inquiry. Got it? Any discussion about it is like boxing in space. It's nonsense. It will not get you anywhere. It's good for entertainment, but that's all it is, entertainment value. No real value in your spiritual growth. Your own spiritual growth can gain value only from your self-inquiry, not from Ekta's self-inquiry. Do you get this? Yeah. So next homework, if you have still not started on the path of self-inquiry, start now. And what is self-inquiry? Just observing. See how my mind is behaving right now. See, I have this undercurrent of anger. See, now I'm going to start shouting at my child or my family member. I can see this. This is self-inquiry. Yeah? Working on those intricate little subtleties of the mind is self-inquiry. Working on that sudden eruption of emotion, and before it erupts, being able to really control it, that is self-inquiry. Recognizing, oh, this I am applying the knowledge correctly, and here I am manipulating myself and manipulating the knowledge, and being able to stop, absolutely stop that manipulation and look at knowledge as it is. That is self-inquiry. Are you getting this? It's very, 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 very subtle. It's very intricate. The deeper you go into yourself, the deeper the potentiality of you to dive into that ocean of consciousnesses. Yeah, these scriptures are all surface level waves. No use. Unless they help you gather the courage to dive inside. That's all. The scriptures have only one purpose in your life. So that the waves splash on your face and you learn to breathe under the water and still survive and gather that confidence. You become strong enough, and now you know that even if I dive deep inside, I have learned the skill of holding my breath and surviving. And I will survive. That's all that is the purpose of scriptures. Just like waves to come onto your face and help you learn that skill. The day you learn the skill of breathing underwater, you will be able to dive deep into the ocean. Got it? Next homework for you. Are you still at the surface level? Or have you started diving deep? Just sitting with Yoga Vasistha, Ashtavakra? No. Not enough. Now you are PhD level students, not beginners. Beginners do that, it's okay. They still are learning. Yeah, they're stumbling and fumbling in the water and hitting their hands here and there, and they also need life jackets. What are those? Floaters. Yeah? They are really working on themselves. It's okay. Beginners के लिए ठीक है. But you guys, you've come a long way. You've come a long way in knowledge. Now you must dive deep into the ocean of consciousness. Okay? So even if you've not started diving deep, now start. Yeah? Don't worry, you're not going to drown. Nothing will happen. Yes? 2 ways to dive deep. 1, dive deep into knowledge. Knowledge means self-inquiry, observing my own chittas, observing my own emotions, observing my own self, being able to control, being able to police my thoughts, being able to police my conduct. Yeah, that is the knowledge side of it. The other diving happens on the meditation side of it, where you go deep into silence and just be with what is, not with the chapar of the mind. No chit chat, just going deeper and deeper into the silence and being able to maintain the silence. Few moments of silence, you experience what happens. Suddenly the mind tells you, come back up, no, bus, you cannot go deep. And you come up, I have to do the laundry. Oh, I have put the dal on the gas. I have to get up. The dal is cooking. Oh, the dal will get spoiled. Finished. Your meditation is gone. Yeah. The second side is diving deeper into the silence of meditation. Yeah. If one side you manage going, the other will become very easy. Whichever works for you, start with one. The other will happen automatically. Yeah. But start. Yeah. You've come a long way. Now really go deeper into your self-inquiry. On account of a slight movement of thought, the same reality which is consciousness seems to become the fivefold elements and thence the body. In the same way, the same consciousness becomes worms and other creatures, metals, minerals, earth, what is on it, water and other elements. Thus, the whole world is nothing but the movement of energy in consciousness, which appears as the fivefold elements. Somewhere this energy is sentient, and elsewhere it appears as insentient. Even as water, when exposed to cold wind, hardens and becomes solid, thus is nature formed, and all things conform to nature. However, all this is but the play of words, a figure of speech. What else is heat and cold, ice and fire? Again, these distinctions arise on account of conditioning and thought patterns. The wise man therefore inquires into the nature of such conditioning, whether it is latent or patent, good or evil. Such is fruitful quest. Vain argumentation is like boxing with space. I read that again to help you understand. Self-inquiry will help you recognize all this is just earth, water, fire, ether, air, and the combination of that. Diving into meditation will just help you recognize all this is that silence, that consciousness. Yeah? Only the wise man can get over his conditioning and recognize it is the five elements and nothing else. Latent conditioning produces insentient beings. Patent conditioning gives rise to gods, humans, etc. This is important. So latent conditioning means what? I had all this conditioning, I do this, I get this, I want this, and that happens in life. This has become my conditioning. Yeah? And this is latent from all my previous janmas. Now in this janma, I decide I want to walk on the spiritual path and really make progress and work on myself, erase this latent conditioning and probably put new conditioning on it of spirituality, of goodness, of developing love, compassion, dropping negativity, moving towards the highest goal of enlightenment. Now I am erasing all my negativity from the past, the latent conditioning, and I have patent conditioning. Got it? Now, patent conditioning also has different levels. To a certain level I purified myself, I will come back again as a human. I will not go down. I will not become an animal. If I have purified myself quite a bit, I will go to a higher realm of existence. Probably to the Pitraloka, the Devaloka. I will go higher. And if I have purified myself quite a bit, I might attain moksha or liberation. So there are levels of purity that you can attain by wiping away the past conditioning with the new conditioning that you can put on yourself of spirituality. Understood latent and patent? Yeah. In some, there is dense conditioning conducive to ignorance. In others, there is attenuated conditioning conducive to liberation. Conditioning alone is responsible for the diversity in creatures. Yeah. For example, some of us came on this spiritual path as in our very early age, in your 20s, in your 30s, some lucky ones earlier than that, in your 10s. But some people come very late. How does this happen? Art of Living was always there, Guruji was always there for both these people. Yeah? How does this happen? This happens because of conditioning. Yeah? The person who came onto the path earlier had already started the patent conditioning of spirituality in the previous lifetime. So in this lifetime, it comes quicker. Not necessary you have to come into an organization or find a guru. You can be spiritual even without a guru. There are many people, right? They start on that pure path at an early age. Some people have all the fun during the lifetime, all the fun with Maya, and then later on start the path of purity. Yeah? So conditioning, the patent conditioning started late. So the same thing is here in the next is of dense conditioning and attenuated conditioning. Dense conditioning, you take a longer time to come onto the path. Attenuated conditioning, which is not so dense, you come quickly. Yeah? Some people don't even, maybe in the next lifetime, you might just come directly as a yogi. Yeah? And at the age of 4, you might start reciting shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita. You never know. Yeah? So, conditioning becomes thinner and thinner and thinner, and the Maya becoming thinner and thinner and thinner. Yeah? The thicker the influence of Maya on you, the thicker your conditioning is, the thinner the influence of Maya on you, the thinner your conditioning is. Yeah? For this cosmic tree, known as creation, the first thought form is the seed, with the various spheres for various parts of the tree, and the past, present, and future as the fruits. The fivefold elements of which the tree is formed arise of their own accord and cease of their own accord. Of their own accord, they diversify, and in due course they become unified and tranquil. Just poetic license to say the same thing. The tree is nothing but the 5 elements. The denser your conditioning, the more time you will take to come onto the path of salvation. The thinner your conditioning, the faster you come. Like that, there are different creatures with different conditionings, and they are all over this creation. They are diverse. Clear? And the first thought form, what is the first thought? What is the seed? I. Ego. I. Work on that. If nothing else you can work on, you cannot work on Kundalini, you cannot work on Pranayam, meditation doesn't happen, nothing happens in life. Whatever you're trying, everything is failing on the spiritual path. Then work on this first thought form, that seed. The smartest thing is to uproot the seed only. And this is one seed which is always a seed. It's there in you. It's that miraculous seed which even after sprouting, the seed is still inside. You can uproot that seed. You can just unearth it. Drop this I that you are knowing. It's very simple. Start with your speech. Yeah? Instead of saying I, with your speech only you begin. Say, let's do this. We can do this. How about this? Yeah? Start with emails. Simple thing, I'll give you an example. With emails. Don't put the word I only in your email. Yeah? Let's do this. How about this? Yeah? Write the sentence in the passive form, not in the active form. Slowly bring it into your speech. Yeah? With complete awareness only this is possible. I told you, either you work through the pranayam and all that difficult way, yeah, and bring your kundalini up, or the easiest is work on your awareness. Sharpen your awareness. Chisel it. Yeah? And to observe, I have to not say I. Oh, I have to not say I already said it twice. What did I need for this? Awareness.
Is this mindfulness you are talking about?
Yes, awareness is mindfulness, no?
I'm curious now about Kundalini.
Acha. Good. More than being curious about the words written about Kundalini, now experience it. Yeah, work on yourself. Yeah, either work through awareness or work through pranayama. Yeah. Any questions? No? Very long session, no? Okay. Okay, then if you have no questions, then I'll see you next week. Yeah. Until then, keep doing your homework and drop the I. Okay, from this moment on, no using I.
It's actually very interesting because I feel this sometimes, especially when you said emails. You know, it's your project. The I becomes so prevalent, and you really have to be very conscious in rewording it because it sounds so conceited.
Yes.
When you keep putting I did this and I said that and I worked this out, it feels conceited.
Yes.
But it's so natural, like we're just ingrained in doing that or talking like that.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah.
It comes in different ways.
Yeah, put it in a passive form. The same thing you can say. This topic came up in the meeting and was handled this way. Yeah, this was the explanation provided by me.
Exactly. But it's very interesting because when you do that change, you can feel like, why is this feeling bad? Like your mind will speak to you, like, why is this feeling bad? Like, you know, you struggle between being conceited and wanting to take credit for something.
The day you let go, what will that person take from me? Okay, you take. You want credit. No, you take. The day you are ready to open your palms wide and let go of everything, I tell you, everything comes to you. It cannot go only. Yeah, in fact, you get the credit for things you have not been doing. That's the strangest thing. Yeah, why? Because there is no more holding, no more grabbing tendency left. Just open, take what you want. All is yours. And then nothing will take the peace away. That is the most important part. Yeah? Protect your peace more than protecting your I. It's either or. You can't protect both. Yeah? Protect your peace. My peace of mind is more important than my I. You take, Baba. You want credit, you take. Enjoy. Be happy. I need to be peaceful. Yeah? Work on this. I'm sure one day you'll get it. It's just a formula. Yeah? You'll get it. So I'll finally sign off today. Yeah? I'll see you next week. Jai Gurudev.